Friends, tzedakah, let's give some charity. And the more we give, the better it is. The quicker and the sooner we will be helped and saved by Hashem. As it says, Gedoyle tzedakah, tzedakah has the great quality, shemekareves is a geula, that hastens the redemption. Redemption has many aspects. Personal redemption, being redeemed from our own inequities, being redeemed from our own challenges, and mainly being redeemed as a collective Jewish community, as a collective world from this bitter exile. You know, I presume that you sometimes wonder as much as I do. We hear sometimes most outrageous statements made by world leaders, kings, ministers. The way they sometimes act, you wonder, aren't they embarrassed to act this way, to say certain things, to behave in a certain way? After all, they're leaders. Don't they know that they're being scrutinized every word they say? And sometimes they will actually do the most outrageous things. And I don't think we need to go into details. We see it in their personal lives, we see it in their leaderships, we see it in their statements they could make vis-a-vis others, that I'm sometimes puzzled. And more than this, we know there is a concept that says, Leiv Melachim v'sorim biyad Hashem. The hearts of the kings and the ministers and the leaders is in the hands of God. In fact, this comes from a verse in Proverbs that Shlomo HaMelech says in chapter 21, Pal Gemayim lev melech biyad Hashem. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, just as the water courses. Now, I have difficulties to think that many of their statements, of their sayings, of their actions, their behaviors, is what God directed them to do. So how could this be? So I saw a beautiful, beautiful thought from the Or HaChaim HaKadosh on the parsha of this week. Torah continues the saga between the brothers of Yosef and Yosef. Yosef is testing them. Are they fully committed, repenting for their act of having sold Yosef? And then finally, he takes Binyamin and accuses Binyamin of theft, and he's going to keep him as a slave. So the Torah starts this week. Vayigash Elav Yehuda Vayomer. Yehuda is coming close to him. And he tells Yosef, he doesn't know that this is his brother. As far as he's concerned, this is the viceroy of Egypt. Bi Adoni. So, Yedaber no abdecha davar ba'ozni Adoni. Let's have a personal conversation. I want to whisper something into your ear. Don't get upset at me. You are to me like Pharaoh. And Rashi says two explanations. You are to me like Pharaoh. I respect you like Pharaoh. In other words, he's giving him a compliment. And also, in other words, you know what? Once I get to you, I will get rid of you and of Pharaoh. So let us have a heart-to-heart talk. But it says, I want to speak into your ear. In other words, something very personal, something I don't want others to hear. What is this all about? Says the Or HaChaim HaKadosh as following. Since the hearts and the minds of the kings is directed by God, so obviously I trust that you will do the right thing. I consider you as a king, and therefore you fall under this category of being directly inspired by God. But there is an issue. You might be inspired by God and wanting to do the right thing, But you can have advisors who can ill advise you and can make you change your mind and can mislead you in doing and acting and against this which you have been advised by God Himself. So therefore it says, I want to whisper in your ears that no one should hear this, that your advisors should not mislead you. Says the Ohr HaChaim HaKadosh that this is the reality with all those leaders. They've been inspired by God, but unfortunately surrounded by people who have other interests, and therefore they can sometimes say and do the most ridiculous, to be nice to them, statements. The only one who is not going to be misleading and misled is Moshiach, and maybe see him now.